Right, cool. Yeah, I'm here. This is Antoine Hunter, Profile Quote. Right now, just letting people know that Urban Jazz Down Company, we're working on uh, a work that's about mental health, hospital, evidencing people who are deaf, disabled, hard of hearing, that what's happening in our community. There's so many different stories out there that had to be able to share, and we want to make the changes. So before I move on, I want to introduce you my brothers who call the artists, the people who writing the book, get the message out there. So who are you, sir?
Hello, I'm Noah James, and I have sickle cell disease, but I also struggle with mental health while living with just multiple diseases that puts me in an intersection. And so I like to say I'm a professional at being in between spaces and allowing that to be a place of meeting and a place of helping others to understand and advocate for others as well. So I do that through multiple organizations. I work with sickle cell awareness in San Francisco and also a company called Cayenne Wellness. And we meet with youth and young adults every week to have mentorship and conversations about how to grow and live with a disease of any kind and how to keep their mind strong. And so this is a parallel and also very much connected to my purpose. So I'm excited to be here with Antoine because we seem to have purpose that just agrees and complements each other.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to go to before we move actually forward. You're a dancer, artist. How would how would you name it?
It's changed. I'm a dancer. I started off as a dancer, a professional dancer, I want to say about a good 10, 15 years ago. I was born with um, deaf and hard of hearing in my right ear since I could remember, and my mom didn't get it diagnosed until I was 6 years old. So, as an artist and coming into the dance world, I was always othered and different on top of being one who has sickle cell. And so, what that looks like for me is when I turned 25, at the peak of my dance career, they said that my bones were decaying, and I had to reimagine what it means to be an artist because I can no longer dance the way that I wanted to, the way that I saw it, the way that I felt it. And I had to accept the fact that I'm not just a dancer. I can also be a choreographer, a teacher, a director, um, a poet, which I am now, um, and all these other tools and avenues of creativity that I can use. But in my heart, I'm a dancer still, even though I can't dance like I want to anymore.
Oh, shit, yeah. I want to say, for me, I'm not giving up to the dancer. You're still a dancer. But even though with people who body changes every day, they have to learn to dance in a different way every day. You know,
Hmm.
my L1 and L2 for my spine, my back, it shit goes in and out. So I have to move.
Mm.
There's some days that I have a lot of pain all day. I remember a few years ago, I just couldn't move my body, and for a whole year, I was with pain because I had LYME disease. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
they gave me the shot, everything, but I was one of those 3% that the medicine that work.
Hmm.
And so I didn't have all the information what I needed, what I could do to get away with the pain. I did. So, but I'm hearing you want to continue your work and continue doing things that you love, and we have to figure out what you can do for yourself. You know,
Yes.
So we get to a point where you find yourself in a situation, learning that they have things that is challenging in medical field, and sometimes it brings you to the hospital, right?
Oh
Just
yeah,
one time or several times.
several times. Too many times that the doctor would accept. So it's conflicting because they don't want me to be here, largely because they don't know what to do, and because they judge me with their biases and with what they feel my disease is. But the truth of the matter is, they don't have any idea or any clue how to treat my situation, similar to yours. It's so unique, and my body doesn't take to certain medications. So it's hard for them to understand what having pain in your spine feels like. Especially most of the doctors are healthy or, body abled or able bodied. So they can't really grasp or understand. They just want to not kill you per se or not over medicate you, even if you don't have any history with drug abuse, or even if that's not your story at all. They still project that on you because that's the first thing that they can say that dismisses the fact that the truth is they don't know how to do their job. So they would rather just judge you and ridicule you. And so, as painful as that is, both mentally and spiritually and physically, I'm often having to be in the hospital far too long and having to advocate for myself too many times. Um, I can have a doctor for 2 days, and a new doctor will come in and do something different or worse than what the previous doctor did. And then on the weekend, a whole new doctor comes in, right? So the admin team, they work in a general space for admissions, but there's no specialty. There's no specialty doctor. There's no doctor who's focused on my situation. There's a hematologist, but that's for blood. There's no one who can treat bone pain. The one thing that they say is, oh, you can have bone surgery, but you don't, your bones are not to the point to where you need that. But for me, because I'm having decay in my spine and my arms and my legs and my hips, I can't have surgery in all of those places. I will be a robot.
Mhm,
So it's like, how can we get around that? And then the other thing they say now, they're doing a new thing called gene therapy, which is dangerous. You have
mhm.
to go through chemotherapy for 6 months of your life for them to strip you of your body or what is your body, and then try to rebuild you in that state. But there's a chance that you won't make it back from that treatment. And then if you do make it back, there's a chance that you can have blood cancer afterwards. So it's like lose lose situation. So I'm having to learn and meditate and accept that suffering is a part of my journey. And I understand that suffering can be a good thing in a lot of cases, but it's tiring to suffer every day when you're just trying to live and be happy and see your dreams manifest, right? So it's a hard journey. I've been labeled as the angry black man because they'll push my buttons to the point to where emotionally I can't take it. And while I'm not violent, while I don't disrespect others, they will use that emotion to make me out to be someone who they should be afraid of because I'm 6'2" and I'm this big. They're intimidated by my emotion. And it's so backwards. It's like of all things you want to be intimidated by, you're scared that you just upset me, So
I completely understand that. Want to well, because I understand you mentioned yourself being hard of hearing and trying to get all the information. I'm asking because it seemed like wow, you're talking about this treatment, that treatment. are you getting the access to communication that you need, or because it seemed like you can, well, it seemed like you just being a patient, or you have to be a teacher, or you can't be just a patient. You have to teach them how to get around with you, because it seems you upset. They're not connect. They're not understanding you. So my question is, um, are you getting your assets met when you're in the hospital?
Most times not. Um, no, because what used to work for me in the past doesn't work now. And um, when they bring in other medications, they have to slowly transition those medications into my system. But then it causes my system to be in a panic. So I'm not having a lot of um, situations to where when I leave, I go home and I feel better. That's a rarity these days. I can say in the last 3 years, I can't remember a time to where I felt good enough to where I didn't have to go to the hospital. Um, so, and then you're right to your point. Like I can't just be a patient. I do have to be an advocate and teach and be patient with them. It's almost like I'm in the hospital for their education and not for my relief and not for my care and my treatment. So, and I will say, with the organizations, we got to meet with some of the legislators in California about this new gene therapy. But even the legislators and the people in government who have the power to make changes in these spaces, they can only do so much because they too have to learn about your situation. And then if it matters to them or not, then they'll go forward to the next step as to how they move into the hospital spaces and how do they infiltrate and get this information to these people so that they could change the way that they treat us.
I understand. I understand. I know for me, most of the time I go to a hospital, they don't bring interpreters at all. So it's like, what's up? And just like, oh, you should bring your own interpreter. And then this time they set up what you call it, the VRI. I put some kind of technology that had the interpreter there on the screen, but
Hmm.
the interpreter can't hear what's happening. They can't see what's happening, and they can't sign everything. It's hard for us to see them. Or something. Internet's not good, but it's completely different than when you're in person. You can really connect to communicate. So I see that happening to many people out there. So I just want to make sure, like we can support you as deaf, disabled, or I mean, what would you say? Uh, what's the better support that you would need? Or did you already say that?
The support that I have now with like the organizations that I work for and that I volunteer in, the support spaces that I have with you, um, that's the biggest help because it helps me stay strong emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Um, there are those few angels in the hospital that help push the envelope and help make things better. But most of the time, those people are travel nurses or people who don't spend the majority of their time in the hospital. So they could do things, but they have a limit. So I'm working on what the support look like in the hospital setting. My social workers, um, they too are limited. So I kind of max out people's job capacity and really depend on them in terms of helping me to network and connect with people who may know more about the situation. But there's no support here in the hospital
Yeah.
because they don't know.
I was thinking, thank you for telling me. Yeah. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to be better stuff. But there are some people that contribute more energy to
Mhm.
wonderful. And you also have families, and some people don't have family to support. You know, yeah, some people who maybe don't have like the English skills that you have to have the conversation to fight for yourself, or other people can't fight for themselves. I want to say this, also is sickle cells, you write in your book about that. Um, why is that important for you to write that book? Because anyone can pick up a dictionary, but
Uh, thank you for asking. I wrote the book for the sickle cell community, specifically the younger kids coming up, because we have a cycle in the hospital system where they tell us we can't do certain things because of this disease. So I wrote the book to show them the human side of the struggle, to show them that you can still have relationships, friends, you can still have activities, you can do all of those things, but you may face a lot of adversity and a lot of pushback and a lot of people telling you you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, don't do it. So the book was just so I could connect with them and show them that hey, there's you can have a life outside of this. We see a lot of people, not a lot, I would say. We see some people who could conquer and push those oppressive prisons and blocks that they face. But when you have a doctor that says you're not going to live past 20 or you're not going to live past 18, your mentally you grow up thinking, okay, well, I can do so many things, but once I reach this age, am I going to die? Or if I don't die, is this a reset for me? Like, do I now try to plan what life is from here on? So that's what I wrote the book for. I'm working on the next one. It's going to be a little bit more expansive and give a little bit more um, insight into the poems and the poetry and the encouragement that's there. But so many of our youth, especially in California and the nearing states, don't have support because for me, I'm the only one in my family. I have a large family. I'm the only one who has sickle cell. And so a lot of kids are like that. So this book was a sign to help them to see that they can have community and that they can develop their own community so that they could live and keep trying and keep striving. Um, because what saddens me is when I'm on Facebook, when I'm on social media, some people have their phone out while the doctor is mistreating them. And there's been many times where we see those same people in the recording pass away, not because of their abuse, because there's no abuse that they're experiencing, but because of mistreatment or because of lack of treatment. And that has made me break internally so many times because it's like these doctors are careless in a lot of ways. They don't really have a heart to sympathize. Um, and I've just lost friends that I've had that I grew up with in sickle cell camp and just as a young adult, and people that I've met from just writing this book who passed away like just last year or the year before, from things that could have been prevented. So yeah, this book is like a tool to help us help each other to survive.
uh, Well, I can't say what experience it's like to try to live through that. Yeah, I mean, I remember living every day with pain in my whole body, and you have to still go to work and still smile and try not to be mad at people because it's not about them, my own pain in my body that's affecting. And then I'm seeing other people who are younger, they need some support.
Mhm.
To teach them how to drive through the pain that we're living with, how you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to do anything that you really love because of the pain that's going on in the body.
Mhm.
We want the children and ourselves to still have a future in life, to experience the joy. Uh, this performance is going to happen soon in a few months. I'm really grateful that you're involved in this film, and I mean, in the performances. So, and also, you recreated a film too. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
film festival. Um, what is your hope that people would get from your performances? Um, yeah, I've, yeah, I'll stop there for now.
My biggest hope is that they reconnect with their humanity, with their heart, and sympathize, and allow that to be enough love and care to support someone who may not be like you. You know, just because I have a physical ailment doesn't mean that um, you can't relate. You may have a mental battle, you may have an emotional battle, but let's not divide ourselves. Let's come together and figure out a way that we can push forward. That's my hope, because we can do more together than we can apart. You know, and um, so many times people get to a space where they say, "Well, you're too much. You go through too much. You you endure too much. You have to read too much. You have to um, take too many classes. You know, whatever it is." And so I just want people to understand that, like, just because I have to do these things with my life doesn't make me less of a person or make me less of a human, rather. So just see people in their light and see people and connect in that space and not from, oh, I don't know how I can help them because I don't go through that situation, or I don't know anybody who could maybe speak to those situations. So I want people to just come together and listen, and to listen with patience. Listening is not something that's just you do with your ears. You have to listen with your eyes. You have to listen with your heart. You have to listen with your empathy, you know? And that's what I really would like. Not just friends and family and strangers, but people in the hospital settings, doctors, nurses. Like, I come across too many professionals in the hospital field who are mean and cruel. And it's almost like, how did you get here? Like, how did you get to a space that's meant to care for people and you don't like people? So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you got your special days for tomorrow. Yeah, that's that. So I'm grateful that you're alive. I'm grateful that you continue to fight for yourself, even though it's tiring. We should be able to have an opportunity to just release and just be patient and say, but I'm hoping that this performance will support you and support other people like you or sharing the same story or maybe similar stories, but they're different situations, but they still need the same
Mm,
kind of support, the support, you know, that who is what need. Um,
yeah.
and I want to take this opportunity. Anything you want to share for people to know? This open now. Take your time.
Um, just to support, to vote, to donate, those things matter the most because what happens is that it'll that support will be the seed and the gift to activate someone who is equipped to deal with a situation that you may not know how to deal with. So if you don't know what to do, or you feel like you can't help a situation, give support because it goes a long way. Um, I used to hear all the time when I was little that one kind heart can reach another person's kind heart, and it just continues in that way. So that's what I would like to share with people: to just love others, give support in the way that you can, and be an advocate for that person that's struggling, who may have depression, who may not be able to endure the day, who may be overwhelmed. Be be a support. Be of a support in the ways that you can, um, because nothing is too little. Everything that you do to help someone else is a monumental thing. It doesn't have to be a large thing. It could be faith that's this small that could move a whole entire world to change. So that's what I want to share with others: is to keep trying to be of help.
You definitely, I mean, I want to continue having this conversation, definitely, and words, word, what you're saying. Um, 'Cause the performance is a part of continuing the conversation, continue writing, you do your blog, everything. And I was connecting with, thing about depressed and the mental health and all of that. I'm just grateful for you sharing in this moment. You know, you, you should be resting, but you want to get the word out, out there. So thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
from my heart, my mind, and spirit. And um I just want also you to know that you are worth being in this world. Yeah.
Mhm.
You have so much to contribute and you're contributing a lot. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.